114 phase underscore 8 underscore how underscore to underscore dwell underscore in underscore the underscore ground underscore of underscore being. Phase 8, how to dwell in the ground of being. C. The manner in which the indivisible nature of the ground and the fruition is actualized. This section has three parts: I. Identifying the essential nature of the fruition that is to be achieved, E. The explanation of how to achieve it, and E. How to serve the needs of others after achieving this. I. Identifying the essential nature of the fruition that is to be achieved. Ultimately, in the fruition of liberation, the ground Dharmakaya, the Shugetagava, is spontaneously actualized as the Dharmakaya, the primordial protector. That which is to be achieved is the youthful Vaskaya. Due to ultimate familiarization with the path, you are finally liberated from obscurations that are to be abandoned, and you actualize the primordial consciousness that is to be realized. The essential nature of this is called the fruition. In accordance with the individual yanas corresponding to people's dispositions and faculties, there are different ways of achieving fruition and of purifying defilements. Among them, the fruition of this phase is the ground Dharmakaya, the Shugetagava. Since the nature of the vast, sublime qualities of the kayas and facets of primordial consciousness is spontaneously actualized as the Dharmakaya, the primordial protector, without reliance on causes or contributing conditions, this is the nature of primordial awakening. As for the way to purify defilements, by perfecting your familiarity with the effortless, naturally settled path of the great perfection, the obscurations and habitual propensities of appearances and mindsets that arise from the root of self-concepts are dispelled without a trace, and you actualize the ultimate achievement of the youthful Vaskaya, which is enlightenment. The essential nature of this twofold purity is empty primordial consciousness, the Dharmakaya. Its manifest nature is the clear light primordial consciousness, the Sambhogakaya. The primordial consciousness of unimpeded compassion is the Nirmanakaya. These are the three inwardly luminous kayas of absolute space. The Sambhogakayas adorned with the signs and symbols of enlightenment manifest to pure disciples, and the supreme Nirmanakayas, who show the 12 deeds of a Buddha and so on, manifest to impure disciples. These are the two outwardly luminous kayas of primordial consciousness. E. The explanation of how to achieve it. Those of superior faculties actualize this in one lifetime. Those of middling and inferior faculties find pristine relief in the splendor of the kayas and facets of primordial consciousness, and dwell in the grounds of the 5 Buddha fields. Those of superior faculties with wisdom and perseverance perfect the view of cutting through to original purity and the meditation of direct crossing over to spontaneous actualization. In so doing, they achieve enlightenment as the Dharmakaya by truly actualizing the primordial nature of existence of their own ground, in this one lifetime and with this one body. Those of middling faculties who do not have the good fortune to be liberated as the Dharmakaya identify as their own appearances the peaceful and wrathful visions of the radiance of pristine awareness in the transitional phase of ultimate reality. They achieve enlightenment as Sambhogakayas with the universal splendor of the ocean of the kayas, facets of primordial consciousness, and sublime qualities. Due to the truth of ultimate reality and the blessings of Vidyadhara gurus, those of inferior faculties dwell for 550 years in the grounds of the 5 pristine Buddha fields that provide pure relief, including the 4 Irati, Srimat, Padmakutta, 156 and Kamaprasiddhi, and the wrathful Buddha field known as the blazing volcano charnel ground, emanated in the space before them. Then they perfect the practices on the authentic path and achieve enlightenment. The omniscient Udvipa states, the 5 pristine Buddha fields that provide pure relief are called naturally emanated Buddha fields, for they are naturally displayed by the blessings of the teacher Vajradhara. As for the cause for them to directly appear to those with karmic momentum, due to the self-illumination of the four facets of primordial consciousness, including mirror-like primordial consciousness, in the all-pervasive heart of the realm of the Shugetagava, the precious portals to the spontaneously actualized appearances of the ground primordially and naturally manifest as appearances of the path, in accordance with the directions of the Sambhogakayas. Do not regard them as existing in specific directions such as the east, as is commonly stated, for that is only symbolic. If you think this contradicts statements about the number of yojanas of the spatial dimensions, those Buddha fields are vaster than the nature of the three realms, so such explanations are not to be taken literally. Likewise, those beings who dwell in wrathful mandalas arise from the primordial aspects of the wrathful deities in the bone palace. Know this to be so, in accordance with his explanation. How to serve the needs of others after achieving this. You appear in all ways as the glory and protector of disciples. Like the moon and its various reflections in water. Until the radiant circle of disciples dissolves into absolute space. The primordial consciousness of absolute space is continuously displayed. Thus, when you serenely abide as the one Dharmakaya, the two Rupakayas appear from the aspects of spontaneously actualized primordial consciousness and compassion, in all ways serving the temporal and ultimate needs of disciples as the glory and protector of living beings. From your own side, you have abandoned delusive appearances and their attributes, so while free of delusive appearances, you perceive the mere arising of non-existent, clear appearances to others and reveal the Dharma. Due to the Buddha's power of natural compassion, the Sambhogakaya appears to disciples with pure karma like the moon in the sky, and Nirmanakayas variously appear to disciples with impure karma like the moon's reflections in water. Limitless beings fail to see their own ground of being, the nature of existence of the Shugetagava, and due to the tenacious habitual propensities of dualistic grasping, their own appearances arise like delusive dreams. They are the radiant circle of disciples. Until they dissolve into absolute space due to realizing and familiarizing themselves with the path, the inner luminosity of absolute space arises as the outer luminosity of the primordial consciousness of the three kayas, and the displays of the two rupakayas continuously arise and serve the needs of living beings. When the pools of water of disciples dry up, the Nirmanakaya reflections of the moon, which are created by the perceptions of disciples, dissolve into the Sambhogakaya moon in the sky. This is not really like one dissolving into the other. Rather, the radiance of the outer luminosity dissolves inwardly into the self-manifestation of the Sambhogakaya in absolute space, free of conceptual elaboration, and this converges back into the Dharmakaya, great primordial consciousness. Advocates of the Madhyamaka say that this union is sublime, serene cessation in the absolute space of phenomena, while advocates of the great perfection say this dissolution into inner luminosity is the youthful Vaskaya of unveiled primordial consciousness. This concludes the synthesis of this phase, revealed in the sharp Vajra of Conscious Awareness Tantra. 3. The colophon. This visionary experience arose as an illusory display of the primordial consciousness of Traktung Düdjom Pawo. After some time it was earnestly requested by the Hermetic disciples Pema Tashi, Orgain Dorje, Rikpe Nyugu, and Lodro Wangpo. Since this was meaningful, may the virtue that results from it dredge the three realms of samsara from the depths. Virtue, 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 Sarva Mangalam. Dedication prayer by Pema Tashi. For as long as this deluded mind identifies with this impure, illusory body, everything you do is a cause of samsara, and the results never transcend suffering. Even though occasions of prosperity in mundane existence do occur, it is obvious that these unreal, illusory deceptions lead you astray. So here is advice on the meaning of identitylessness to be followed by those who recognize this and seek liberation. If you do not realize that all phenomena in samsara and nirvana are simply your own appearances with no basis or root, By merely knowing a superficial emptiness, you will not achieve the Mahayana Arya grounds. If you do not realize how to transform into the path the spontaneously actualized appearances of the radiance of pristine awareness of the essential nature of original purity, you will be overcome by the dust of transmigration among the three appearances, failing to see the original nature of existence. Therefore, the sole protector of all beings, which is unrivaled in the realms of mundane existence and ultimate peace, is this one supreme path that has been and will be followed by all jinnas. By the power of the blessings of great compassion and the great fortune and good deeds of disciples. This appears only this one time, so it is difficult to find and is even more rare than the Adumbara flower. If it is said that by merely hearing its name, even great sinners are freed from the miserable realms of existence, it is certain that those who practice by hearing, thinking, and meditating will become bodhisattvas who reach the end of mundane existence. Careful examination of this reveals the great significance of finding it, which surpasses finding a wish-fulfilling jewel. Those who unwaveringly devote themselves to this day and night are exalted as the foremost of all Dharma practitioners. Although there is nothing more profound than the Dharma of the great perfection, for those who fail to connect with it, and who arrogantly denounce cause and effect, it is a cause for miserable rebirths. Until you have reached a high level of realization, such that you experience no pain even if you are cut with a weapon, with great devotion apply yourself to the profound practical instructions on what to abandon and what to follow in terms of cause and effect. Although the meditative equipoise of the great perfection is ineffable, when first entering the practice as a novice, even if you express your opinions to others as if you were accompanied by visions of texts and reasoning, it is important to gain certainty regarding explanations that do not contradict the profound nature of existence and the vast nature of appearances, so that you know how to properly teach what does and does not exist, what is and is not, and what is to be avoided and what is to be practiced. If you are a courageous practitioner of this discipline, you will not be overcome by adversity. But immature people discriminate against others in terms of comparing the class to others. In a pleasant, wonderful place of solitude, which pacifies outer and inner distractions, abandon pointless and trivial concerns and activities and apply yourself to practicing the essence of that which is greatly meaningful. Come to know the ultimate nature of existence, like the space of the sky, and abide in displays of practice. The wisdom of an ordinary person lacking inborn and cultivated virtues does not go far, like the flight of a honeybee. But once you have found delight in the garden of excellent meaning, the melodious explanation of whatever you have understood will hum forth. Those who taste this sweet essence again and again perfect the power of blessed confidence. Those who divulge secrets incur problems, and those who despise or disparage this path will be tormented by dukkha. It is inadvisable to divulge anything even upwind of such people. When perceiving this path, suitable vessels feel great devotion and confidence in its explanation. Even if they are from a low class and poor, it is said that they should be taught without reservation. Guardians and protective demons of the teachings of secret mantra punish those who violate the samayas, and they support and befriend those who keep them. Understand how they do so in accordance with traditional accounts. May the immaculate collections of virtue, dedicated following the wisdom of Manjaghosa, flow like the current of the Ganges. May the experience of the nature of existence by way of this effortless path merge with the ocean of omniscience. In the short term, may unfavorable circumstances throughout the world fully subside. And may our spiritual and mundane bounties be equal to the fortune of the gods of Tusita. Through thick and thin until enlightenment, may we always be accompanied by the unfailing affection and respect of Vajra siblings. With common karma and aspirations, and may we practice the Vajrayana. This pure vision of the great treasure revealer Lama Düdjom Dorje Trilo Sal is a set of Dharma teachings that arose from the treasury of space. This commentary to the sharp Vajra of conscious awareness Tantra was taught to a few Dharma friends near the hermitage Drak Yangzong of the second Buddha Orgain, Padmasambhava. On that occasion, the memorized oral teachings of the Venerable, Great Treasure Revealer Düdjom Dorje were held as supreme, and Pema Manga, 160 with devotion for this foremost path, wrote them down so that they would not be forgotten. Virtue, Sarva Mangalam. May the teachings of this profound treasure, the great perfection of the early translation school of the tradition of Padmasambhava, the definitive, essential tradition of Düdjom Lingpa, be preserved through teaching and practice, without declining until the end of mundane existence. Virtue, 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 Sarva Mangalam.